A good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Savage Patriots. We're going to be talking about a interesting individual today. In case you have not kept up with the saga that is Mr. Beast, it is one for the ages. I would equate this to something akin to Young and Restless, As the World Turns, General Hospital kind of thing. It's a
That kind
big
of
soap
drama.
opera.
Is what
It's
you're
drama,
thinking.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
tribute drama.
It's a lot
It's
of drama.
crazy.
And just for the record, we are not a drama channel, so
No,
don't get it
no.
twisted.
But we are social influencers, and this has to do with the thing that we do cover, which is kids. Now,
Yeah.
to give you a little bit of a rundown, a little bit of a grand social idea of what it is, a individual, I think last year, Aprilish, March, April, January, March, April, that works with Mr. Beast, decided that he was going to be coming out as a trans. Left his wife, left his kids, became a cross-dressing human being, said he was a girl, and it sparked a lot of backlash on the interwebs. And Mr. Beast, and I'll show this to you so you understand something here, because you need to understand the biggest problem with this is that when people tell you this is a problem and your response is to cut them down and cuss people out, you might want to rethink how you approach the public. So this was Mr. Beast's response to people calling out this as a problem, because Mr. Beast, whether people like it or not, he interacts with a lot of kids. And many people saw this as a problem, possibly leading to something akin to grooming and all. And when people started suggesting that, Mr. Beast decided to chime in and said, yeah, this is getting absurd. Kris isn't my nightmare. He's my effing friend. And things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off.
Oh.
Now, the problem is when people tried to tell him last year that this could be problematic for him, he refused to acknowledge that. Fast forward a year, and some people who were kids a few years back now, I think about 8 years now ago, have come forward stating that Kris, the one that decided he was a girl, had been inappropriate with them in a Discord server. And when I say inappropriate, I mean sharing with them pornography, speaking to them in graphic ways, and in essence, grooming while he was still, male. I mean, he's always going to be male, but as he was presenting himself as a man. And the next result was Mr. Beast trying to act as though this is news to him. And unfortunately, it's not news to him, because there are many people coming forward saying now that he did indeed know. Which brings us to where we are now and the problems that are surfacing, because now Mr. Beast is not just under fire for having not doing it. He's also under fire for having not taken care of the problem when it showed up. And it's been crazy, because there have been scores of people coming forward now saying that worked for Mr. Beast, that said he did indeed know about it going on, and he enabled it to the point where all the scams that he was pulling on people, which is also another side to the drama, was in an effort to bring more kids into the fray. So this is where we take up, is after the events of Mr. Tranny and his backtracking and all that stuff. And now Mr. Beast has now said he's going to hire a private investigator to go look into the allegations, which I don't think he's actually going to do at all, because I think he already knows exactly where this is going to go. And now he's threatening to sue the former employee.
So let me get this straight. Mr. Beast, a well-known influencer who makes his rounds handing out money to random strangers for meeting the challenges that he issues, particularly for kids, was actively either ignoring can we use real terminology here, or do we have to?
Yes, please, because it's what he is. It is what he is.
To defend a pedophile trans thing, And in order for him to have his weekly dosage of exposure, Mr. Beast was in cahoots with bringing kids into the foray.
Yeah. So the biggest issue about this whole thing is that they
am I right?
had.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. And here's the thing: is that they had an entire Discord server, private Discord server to them and themselves. And Kris Tyson, sorry, not Chris Evans from last episode. I messed it up. Sorry, Chris Evans. But Kris Tyson, the person we were talking about, was multiple times messaging and even sharing pornography with people at the age of 12, like under 18 to 12. This is the age range we're looking at.
Well, and Marlon and I was talking backstage about it. I think, with him transitioning, all of a sudden leaving his wife, doing this whole I'm a girl now, I think this is a cover because he knew what's going on now was coming. So he tried to cover it saying, "Oh, look, I'm a girl," and it's just weird. And Mr. Beast has been around the world, been in different countries, interacting with many children from other countries. And I can only imagine what type of other stuff went down with Kris being in these other countries with him.
Yeah, it's there's no direct evidence linking Mr. Beast to any untoward behavior towards these minors, but there's plenty to indicate that he knew or was at least passively acknowledging that it existed.
Well, the fact that it was him and Kris was not ever working not with Mr. Beast. I want people to understand that.
Yeah.
At the onset, they were working together.
Mm-hmm.
And so him feigning ignorance cannot pass the sniff test, because you should be aware, especially if you're going to come forward last year to defend the individual. You can't then play ignorant, because if you do say you're ignorant to it, that makes you stupid to have that much money and not vet people properly who are dealing with children. In either case, Mr. Beast, you are responsible for this, and may not just not responsible, but liable in this event. Now, I did come across a video on TikTok where he's talking about it. Maybe not about that. You'll catch what he says in a minute. And the person he's sitting next to is none other than who?
Kris Tyson.
Yeah, that's him.
Before he became Christine.
No, it was Ava. Don't dead name. Gosh,
Ava.
I'm going to call him Christine. I'm going to call him the correct name. Christine.
And, real quick observation. Usually, maybe I'm wrong. Usually dudes that transition kind of have gay tendencies, correct?
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he does, because he looks pretty straight right there.
No. You'll watch when you watch him talk, you'll understand. I think just watch this.
One day, Kris showed me this anime, and I just couldn't take a break from working to watch it. I was like, how can I make content while also watching anime? As weird as that is.
I'm about to count to 100,000.
To be honest, no one on YouTube has ever done something that stupid, just counting for 40 hours.
Let's 1, 2, 3, 4.
It garnered a ton of attention.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006.
It's one of my first real viral videos.
76,411, 76,412, 76,414, 76,415, 76,416.
And that's where it kind of clicked. If I do interesting things, people will watch.
100,000. What am I doing with my life?
He started doing all these kind of crazy, ridiculous,
see it?
lengthy challenges
Yeah.
that nobody had ever done.
What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be reading the entire B movie script with a little plot twist. Every time the word B comes up, I'm going to say all the previous ones.
And everybody was reacting to it. And so I think that gave him a really big initial boost in the beginning.
B, 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 B.
And that's when I kind of just realized that, if I really go all in, I really be creative and unique, and I do things that just no one else would do because they're so hard and take so much effort, right? People have no choice but to watch it because it's just interesting. You know what I mean?
What's up, guys? I'm going to be watching It's Everyday Bro for 10 hours straight.
After that, I watched 2 different music videos for 10 hours straight, and those did well. And then I read the dictionary.
Seems boring, but it'll get there.
I spun a fidget spinner for 24 hours, and I actually broke the world record on that.
Now, what do you guys notice about the video? You may have missed it, but I'm waiting to see if you catch it.
No,
What did you
I
miss?
guess I missed it because I don't
Okay.
know.
What was he talking about that he was watching that he never went back to address?
Anime?
The anime thing. Yeah.
That who sent him?
Chris sent him.
That Kris sent him. Right. The entire now, mind you, this was all one playthrough. What he started to do, which is the anime that they're talking about, was one of the stuff that he used to send in the chats on the Discord. So he knew about the stuff that Kris was sending, which is why he mentioned it, but mentioned it as though he was using it as a catalyst to make all his crazy weird, it was just a weird video catalyst kind of thing. How do I know when he said, how can I watch the video and still do what I'm doing? How can I watch the anime that he sent me and still do what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, that was interesting phrasing for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, many people, when I first saw it, I thought,
Ain't no way.
Maybe, but the more I heard about the situation with Kris and the kinds of things, it was not just, human interactive pornography, man and woman, but it was everything. From what I was reading, it's all various types of pornography that he was passing. One of them, of course, was this cartoon thing. So him having to watch it that Kris sent him was the hint that everybody knew that he had been seeing it. He saw it and he just ignored it. How can I know it and still not say that I know it? That was MrBeast. Now, what he started to do, though, was in order to deflect from it, which is what he showed. So at the end of the video was this. I'm just going to do random crazy things on the video, and people are just going to think that I'm really just an eclectic guy and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Kris, the victims of Kris have come forward talking about, including one of his former employees who came out exposing everything. And this is what happened when he exposed everything. Apparently, MrBeast and his legal crew decided to send the man this. He sent him a cease and desist letter. So, dear Mr. Dogpack, Satan, Lord of Darkness, represents your former employee, MrBeast YouTube LLC. I find that kind of weird. I'm thinking they put that over there as a cover for it's redacted, so they put that over there. I don't want people thinking that's the name of the law firm, Satan, Lord of Darkness.
Wouldn't surprise me with a name like.
I mean, it's pretty funny, and that's what most people think of lawyers anyway.
And the man's name is not Dogpack. He's actually has a name, but they redacted too. But they put his YouTube channel, Dogpack 404. I am writing you regarding your recent troubling conduct following your involuntary termination from employment with the company in April of 2024. Specifically, it has recently come to the company's attention that you have been, among other things, disclosing sensitive, confidential, and proprietary information regarding the company's business operation and content creation methodology in breach of your contractual and legal obligations to the company, including the contractual post-employment obligations set forth in your confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement executed by you in connection with your employment. Do you do that stuff if what the people are saying is untrue?
No.
Sometimes a cease and desist letter, people, is not to your benefit. Just understand the legal places you take things to may not work out the way you want it. Understand? You actually prove guilt by your responses to some things. And in this case, you're proving your guilt. Now, the guy had said that he is MrBeast scripts all of his stuff. He lies about the giveaways that he does. He doesn't actually have the kind of funds that he does. He has a bunch of bankrollers and
illegal lotteries,
pre-picked contestants. So there's not random people. It's always people that he either knows, already had communication with, or he selected. So him walking up on the street like he used to say, just handing people $1,000 who were pre-picked people. It was all scripted. And this is where he got his fame from, because he always used to tell people, I may run into you on the street. You never know. In order for them to sign up to his channel to gain followers, but they never get anything back.
You know how I know that they're in a tough bind is because the videos and the illegal lotteries that he brings up in his video have been scrubbed from the internet. They started deleting the videos after his video came out. And then the cease and desist later comes out after they deleted the videos, where they claim that he performed illegal lottery. So what they would do in these videos is they would say, hey, buy this t-shirt, and then you have a chance to get into the giveaway for the bigger thing. Right? Which is you can't do. You can't purchase it because it's supposed to be no purchase necessary. Any lottery has to be open to everyone unless you are specifically given a license to do so. There are lots of laws on the books for what you can do with lotteries. You can't just do random giveaways without any rules. And they've been skirting those rules for a very long time. And now it's coming back to bite them.
One of the other persons that used to work with Kris was a guy who goes by the title Lava. And he was one of the first few to come out and talk about the inappropriate content on the Discord server. And right after he did that was when MrBeast came forward and said, well, I'm doing an independent thing where, I'm going to be investigating and blah, 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 blah. My question to MrBeast was this: why didn't you do that exact same investigation when we talked to you about Kris last year, instead of lambasting people for transphobia when it was not about transphobia? We were concerned that you have a man in your company that deals with kids behind the scenes that seemingly has some tendencies to the sexual deviant.
Yeah,
I think it was a valid concern. And at that point, you said it was your friend and you knew who he was and all that stuff. So my question to Pat is, did he know what Kris was doing in order to be able to say, when all gusto and cuss people out and say, if you, you can quit my channel if you want, if all from defending him? What was up with that?
I believe he knew, so with his Discord channel, what type of server is it? Is it his personal
all
server?
Gaming. No, it's gaming.
No, but the server itself, who owns the server that they do all this Discord on?
MrBeast did.
Discord.
So well, I know it's Discord. So the computers and everything that they're tied into to play on Discord, who operates those systems?
The channel itself on Discord?
Yeah.
That was MrBeast's channel.
Okay, so everyone goes to MrBeast's channel to operate in this Discord, correct?
Yeah, but it was all off. It wasn't like, you can have a public forum and everybody go. That's not what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that was my question.
It was like a members only kind of thing.
Yeah, it was not a public Discord server. It was a private Discord server with people they specifically let in and invited who happened to be underage.
Yes.
Okay, private Discord server. So who owned the rights to that private Discord server?
Beast did.
So him being the owner, does he have access to everyone that can access that server? He has access to it, just like any corporation, just like any business. If I'm working for Marlon gives me a passcode. He gives me this is your password. You're operating in my system. At any moment in time, you should be able to go and see where I've been in that system, who I talked to, what I was sending, right? So
as long as
at some point, MrBeast had to know what this guy's doing. He had to. Maybe he could say he did it. He probably wiped it when he saw it. I mean, who knows? But at some point, he knew it was going on because he had to see it. He had to see it.
Yeah. So how it would work is that you can invite people in. They have their own individual accounts, but the overall server is owned by somebody, which is more than likely MrBeast or at least Kris. Okay. Therein lies the problem, is that they specifically invited people who were underage and then still had a category in that server that was not safe for work, which was then put in pornographic material with people who had access to it who were at least from under 18 to the age of 12. I want to repeat that again: from the age of 18 to under the age of 18 to 12 years old, had access to not safe for work content, including, not limited to, dick pics of Kris.
He put his own thing up there. Now, when you have this kind of situation with kids involved, you cannot come forward and then say people should not be concerned. If I'm trusting you, I'm trusting my kid, And Mr. Beast is the one my kid tells me, no, it's a thing run by Mr. Beast. And you show me his content. And his content is trying to convince me that he is all for making child-friendly content. And I peruse his YouTube channel because that's the only thing I have access to prove one way or the other that Mr. Beast might be good or bad. And everything on there seems on the up and up. I wouldn't have a reason to think that my child should not be part of it, seeing as how the game industry, a part of it is fine, and the YouTube content is fine. I won't see a problem with it. However, I think that is why I say Mr. Beast knew. He banked on the fact that the image he was putting forward would detract parents from asking the pertinent question. What's going on in these private rooms?
Yep.
Now, I know for a fact, when I got involved in pornography, I was about 10, 11 years old. You think I would go tell my mom? No. But
No.
one day, the decision to come clean to my mom, this is what was happening, happened. Not every kid is going to do that, especially when they know that, hey, I kind of like this secret that I'm living. If I live with this secret, no one will know. And you know what my mom thinks? My mom and dad think Mr. Beast is the best. And that's the image he put forward. So who's going to question him? Nobody. No one's going to question that at all.
Very true.
Like the facade of the wholesome gamer turned what is it? The wholesome gamer turned entrepreneur slash philanthropist.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a feel-good story.
Yeah.
It's a great
It's always a feel-good story.
And that's great because, you know, how I learned about Mr. Beast was my son when he was a minor. And he was like, hey, Dad, you seen Mr. Beast? Here's his YouTube channel. I knew nothing of like private servers. I knew nothing about no Discord. All I saw was his videos. So now I have to ask myself, what? Because my son is a gamer. Was he in some type of Discord with Mr. Beast? Was he actually seeing this type of stuff? You know, but only showing me the YouTube channel, and I'd see it like, oh yeah, he's cool.
Yep.
So all these parents out there have to ask yourself that question.
That's right. Because here's the thing. At the very least, what we know based on the Discord information and that minors had access to pornography is they are in violation of the obscenity laws of the federal government, which state you cannot transfer or knowingly give obscene material to minors. Right? So that in and itself is illegal. What they did in that Discord server at the very basic, if we're not even talking about solicitation of a minor, which is the other thing, we're talking about just them giving them access to 12-year-olds to pornography on there. And not only that, but giving pictures of yourself to those said minors.
Therein lies the biggest problem for Mr. Beast right now, because he would have to look, either you didn't know how to run your business, or you knew exactly how to run your business. Something tells me you knew exactly how to run your business. Something tells me that you knew exactly what was going on. And instead of intervening, you thought to yourself, this is, you know, I'm just going to sit this one out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say anything. And that's the problem. So we have here, I'm going to bring this up real quick. The Discord leak shows Kris Tyson telling minors to post explicit images. Okay. Now, not only was he giving, he was requesting. It's a double whammy. You approaching and placing stuff is them going forward. Now you asking them to send. The last time I saw something like this was on Chris Hansen, you know. Just have a seat.
Hansen,
right? Just have a seat.
Have a seat.
Mr. Beast Discord. So it is Mr. Beast Discord. See right here? Right here. See? Okay. Leaks have revealed that Kris Tyson had minors managing and posting in channels centered around explicit content. July 21st, Tyson was accused of having inappropriate friendships with minors and grooming a young fan, Lava, like I mentioned, who was 13 at the time. The interactions took place in public Discord servers, from which over 500,000 messages have now been leaked. I clicked on the link, but I think the link has now been nixed. These showcase Ava having underage moderators set up bots that post explicit images, encouraging them to post explicit images, and fighting to hold on to inappropriate channels despite minors having access to them. At one point, a message sent in the Discord acknowledges that a majority of the people in the channel were most likely underage. Ava argued for explicit content to be allowed and claimed the internet is full of porn. Now, I want to
That's a
point something
fantastic
out real quick,
justify.
right?
Yeah.
There is another person that sounds an awful lot like, and I'll reference that woman now, Oprah.
Yep.
Oprah had a incident on stage where she said one day, if the person is any good at sexual abuse and grooming, the kid would like it because they make it feel good. Now,
Wow.
while I disagree with Oprah on a lot of things, she is one of those people that I can 100% attest to that she may know exactly what she's talking about because she's probably done it herself. Now,
Mhm.
in this situation with Tyson, the situation is crazy because if you're in that particular position and you say, don't worry about it because porn's everywhere, at least I have them where I want them. It's not a flex. It's not the kind
Yeah.
of thing you want to say that you know about because you already are doing something that's classified illegal. When it was pointed out that there was a responsibility to the server owner to prevent minors from viewing pornographic materials, he responded, I'm calling you a she, you're a he. He responded, what am I, a parent? Other message included in users stating that they were modded at age 14 for their help in organizing the channel, as well as him discussing the setup of bots that'll automatically post explicit images with lava. I believe in a free, not safe for work channel. Additionally, Discord did not add the ability to filter access based on the user's age until June of 2020, meaning that minors in MrBeast's server would have had access to the channel since these conversations took place between 18 and 19.
Mm.
Now, think about this. You understand who MrBeast is on the other side. Let's talk about
Yeah.
the availability that he would be funneling. Now, remember, the person that funneled this would be MrBeast, since his channel was one of the main influencers around children.
Yeah.
Don't forget, too, that he's also the individual that would be doing lots of the giveaways, going to people's homes, talking to these children, and then also doing, what would he call that, humanitarian work,
Yeah.
especially surrounding kids. He's not doing it for the helping of kids. He's doing it for the coercion to bring them into the auspices of Kris. So
Yep.
I don't know who was really in charge. I think Kris might actually have been the one in charge of MrBeast was the facility. He was more like Ghislaine Maxwell, and Kris would have been like Epstein.
Yep.
Mm.
I can
The-
see it,
the-
man.
The biggest issue with this, like I said, is the solicitation of a minor, right?
Mhm.
So it's a criminal offense that involves attempting to persuade, coerce, or deceive a minor, typically under the age of 18, into engaging in sexual activities. That also includes obscenity laws, which is providing or getting them to post illicit images on the internet is still illegal, like because the child is not supposed to have access to pornography in the first
Mhm.
place.
Right.
And you're soliciting them to post illicit content on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So like that in and of itself is a crime. Everything they did in that Discord server when it comes to the not safe for work material was a crime, especially with having a mod at 14 working this was
Now,
a crime.
Do you think they can post their excuse as it was AI doing it? All they did was set up the algorithm?
Who set up the algorithm?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So he has no cap. There's no out.
There's
There is
no out.
for Kris at this point.
Yeah.
Literally none. None.
So the intent, like it says at the bottom, at the intent, the defendant intended to engage in sexual conduct with a minor. So
Facts,
the intent
he did.
here is that he was setting up a not safe for work Discord server to, at the very least, flash his junk at underage children.
Minors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just put it like that. It's the same thing as him going to a playground
And
with
doing
a
the same
trench
thing.
coat and doing the willy dance. That's
Yeah.
that's the same thing. It's just on the internet.
Crazy.
The technology is different, but the outcome is the same.
In action, the defendant took some action to carry out this intent, such as contacting the minor or arranging a meeting. He did the first portion, which is contacting the minor. Again, there is no way he can get out of this because, as I said, Mr. Beast created content aimed at contacting minors and encourage them through the lotto system to contact him. So you can't escape that. Mr. Beast cannot get away from what his role in this was because he was the facilitator, both of the Discord server and the content that would bring kids into the foray to have the discussion.
Well, not to mention the fact that the Discord server itself allows you to be able to contact whoever's in the server, like directly.
Yeah,
directly. DMs all the way home.
We don't even have any leaked DMs other than some text messages here and there. There are a couple of those already out there, but we don't have any worse ones based on that Discord server. That's what I mean. It's like we don't know what was said on Discord until there's an actual criminal case in discovery. It's the only way we're going to get that information.
I can't wait for that one.
Which is what I don't understand how he's not been arrested yet
because
and charged with a crime.
But you know why? You know exactly why. Why has he not been arrested?
Because they all
he's a trans. You can't be arresting trans people.
That's true.
That's transphobic. Look, if you're gonna tell me, and look, I have no doubt in my mind that the timing of Tyson's coming out was planned.
Yep.
Now you know the climate. You know the climate. You know exactly what kind of perks you have as a transgender individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the society is giving you perks for, and not just perks, but passes. Now, if I know that I can come out and get sympathy for my behavior because I just didn't know I was a woman trapped in a man's body, and now that I am transitioned, you cannot come after me because that is what hate crime stuff. You can't be coming at me for that. Even Mr. Beast, remember when he defended him? This is transphobia. Look, this is my thought. I believe that Mr. Beast encouraged him to transition.
Yep.
Because he knew what was in the server and that people there was already buzz in the back rooms about people exposing this. And he knows full well how society runs, and you cannot go after him because he's trans and you can't touch those people. I believe Mr. Beast. I'm not going to say I know for a fact, but I also understand how society has been working recently. And you cannot, if you say anything about a trans person on TikTok, you're dead meat.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't say jack about it. Look, all the videos about the boxer lady taken down. Why? All these videos about anybody doing anything to do with trans, you get taken out of the public sphere. I think Tyson knew. I think Mr. Beast knew that's the best option to go, which is why he defended him so vehemently, because he knew what the plan was from the very get, which is why I also say he's not actually investigating this at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same situation with Harvey and his shenanigans in Hollywood, right? He had money, he makes lots of money, and it was let go for a very long time. Mr. Beast for YouTube and Google makes a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of their largest channels on their platform. They cannot just nuke a platform that garners that much revenue, that gets that many eyes on their platform.
Right.
So this is why they're not pushing it as hard. In an opposite regard, the same way that they treated Dr. Disrespect in his solicitation, which still beyond me how that didn't go to into a court case in the first place, right? Is now not the same as the guy that transitioned who was talking to a 12-year-old.
Right.
Yeah, and the thing is, how long did Mr. Beast and Kris know each other?
Forever.
And you'll see where I'm getting at this. So let's say Marlon and I let's say we've known each other for 15 years. At some point in that relationship, would there be a sign that I was probably a woman, or acted like a woman, or dressed like a woman, or some type of something within that relationship, something being your best friend?
There would have been conversations.
There would have been something. There would have been something. But as Marlon stated, perfect timing last year, and they've been friends for years before this. Last year, now all of a sudden he's, hey, bestie that I've known for 15 years. You know I'm a woman. You know what I mean? The timing. And then Mr. Beast comes out so hard to defend him because, as Marlon stated, it was probably planned because Mr. Beast knew that this storm was coming.
But then what would the agenda have been other than to traffic children?
It's the Caitlyn Jenner defense.
That's what I was just about to say. That's exactly what it is. You can't go after them. They know what they're... Look, I will give Mr. Beast this. He is a marketing genius.
Yeah.
Say what you want about his perversion, but the man is a marketing genius. That is why I believe that it was a prescriptive idea to come forward and say, I'm trans. He was already privy to the behavior in the comment section in the Discord. And he also, I think he already got wind forever ago about people possibly coming forward to expose. It will also explain why he is willing to sue somebody. And it is also explains why he decided to write this tweet. Over the last few days, I've become aware. Really? The last few days you become aware of it? Okay. I've become aware of serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts. Here's one thing I've learned about people. You don't need to say that you're opposed to it. That should be the baseline. Look,
that should be your premise.
You have to convince people that you're opposed to it. You're probably not opposed to it.
Yeah, you should have left it at "I am disgusted." Period.
I did. That's it. That's it. We all. That should be our norm. Is that you're opposed to it? That should not even need to be announced. That's like saying, I'm not a proponent for murder, but then you're a proponent of murder. That's what you're talking about.
And anything after the butt doesn't like
pedophiles. Exactly.
Yeah.
During that should have stopped at disgusted is what it is.
You should have. During that time, I've been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure that I have all the facts. It's your server.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast, it's your server. You know what you should already have, especially for an organization as well run as yours. You should be able to just go to the dates that people are talking about and read. It's your server. You don't need a private investigator to investigate jack. Someone said something happened. You have access. It's like this. Someone comes onto my YouTube page. They come on here and they say, Savage Patriots have a video of minors on there and they're doing illicit stuff. And I'm like, we do? And they say, these are the dates it happened on. I'm going to have to hire an investigator to go see that. I have access to YouTube Studio. You know what I can go do in YouTube Studio?
Yeah.
Type in the name of the stuff and it'll bring it right up to me. Yeah. Do not give me this tripe about you need to investigate this and send somebody. Bro, come on, man. Come on.
It's funny to me that we have not heard a single thing after this tweet was made about the investigation that said it to be happening. There's a private investigation.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
I don't think it's happening at all. Yes, that said, I have seen enough online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with Mr. Beast. I do not condone or support any of the inappropriate actions, but we told you last year, and you doubled down.
Yeah,
your inaction led to this. If you want to say you didn't know, you took no action then. When the people were I saw comments in that same thread, Mr. Beast, where you were cussing people out, where people told you this is his step to grooming because he's dealing with kids, and you cussed them out.
Yeah,
you made all kinds of allegations to these people that you're going to find them and you're going to do this, you're going to do that. You defended Tyson to the nth degree. You never did an investigation then. Now that the victims are talking out with actual provable things, now all of a sudden you need an investigation? Nah, fam. You look, you knew. I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based on their finding. What other actions can you take? Let me ask that. You're not a lawyer. You're not a cop. You're not a judge. There's no other action you can take. What were you thinking you could do after the investigation comes back? That you already fired him, right? Okay. So you fired him. He is now left in the open duck season, wabbit season, right? He's out in the open.
Yeah.
You denounced him. Why is the investigation still going on? You're distancing yourself to try and make it look as though you didn't have a hand in it. That's all you're doing. This is damage control.
Or he's trying to wipe the server because he dibble dabbled too. He's trying to find it. He has to go inside the server. And this the way my freaking brain works, man. I'm just like him. It's just odd the way he's put out this tweet. He goes in the server with his private investigators. He bleach bits everything. and he wipes his name from anything,
All of it.
all of it.
Yep.
And somebody's got to fall. Who's the fall guy?
The tranny.
Chris.
Yeah.
Chris
The
is the
tranny.
fall guy. Mr. Beast continues on with his life. Maybe.
Marlon, there is one that proves that he would, at the very least, knows what was going on in that server. At the
Mhm.
very least, even if he didn't have access or didn't know it, there is.
Well, it's
one.
like this. Okay, you've seen those channels of people walking up to couples and they swap phones,
Yep.
Yeah.
and the partner that has something on their phone knows. And what do they start doing real quick? You see their hands doing
Delete
this number
messages.
here, and
Yep.
things are just going delete, and then they hand their phone over and think, "Oh, everything's fine." They always miss
Yeah.
one thing or two things,
Mhm.
right? They always do that.
It's never
That's what they
fine.
do. That's what they do.
Or they have a weird name like pizza delivery guy. And you're like, who the heck's pizza delivery guy, and why is he messaging you? You know, it's just can't hide
Okay.
nothing, man.
Okay. So I'll read it out, but I'll make sure to what you call it. Okay. So
Yeah,
so this
censor.
is this is one of those this is one of the Discord message exchanges, right? So the first part is his thing isn't big enough. I know his thing size and it's big. And then someone says, "Beast, are you gay?" So he's there in the conversation. At the very last
Yeah.
line, it says, "Ha ha ha!" At Mr. Beast joins in the comment on my thing size. I love it. Mr. Beast is in the dialogue thread.
Yeah.
In this particular conversation, Mr. Beast himself. I want people to understand. So if this is what Mr. Beast said, no, I know his thing size and it's huge. If
Referring
you
to
want to
Chris.
tell me that, oh, that wasn't a Mr. Beast, it's your server, bro,
Yep.
with your name at Mr. Beast. So this whole allegation of him not knowing what was taking place, what they were conversing about, who said what, you were a part of the middle of the conversation, point blank, period. This is damage control. This is him trying to evade the problem. This is him trying to distance himself from Chris, knowing full well that you were probably one of the people that was right next to Chris while he was doing exactly what he was doing and encouraging it. And probably I would even go on a limb to say that you were telling Chris, don't worry, we'll have way more interaction by the time my channel really takes off and I can actually market to kids.
Yep.
I think it was the
Which
year
they have
bef-
been.
the same year. Was it the same year? When Chris came out, I had my kid, my 9-year-old, 8 at the time. He was a fan of Mr. Beast because he was everywhere. If like I said, he's all over YouTube.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest creators
you
ever.
You cannot see a short, you can't see a small video, you can't see anything without seeing Mr. Beast giving something away. So I understood that it was everywhere. And in my mind, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't know. And I'm telling you, he's good. The man is really good at what he does. And so fast forward to April, and I hear the dude's a trans, and I'm like, what? So then I go back and I ask my do you still follow Mr. Beast? Yeah. Okay. We're not following Mr. Beast no more. Mr. Beast is confused, and we don't need to have him in this house. But I said, you don't need to know why. I'm just letting you know that you're no longer allowed to watch Mr. Beast. Block the channel. You see, but most parents aren't going to do this. And Mr. Beast knows that because they're not going to think of the trans. They've made the trans thing a normal thing now for children and adults to learn, which is why it's been included. And so why I tell you, he knew the schools had already adopted it. They were already pushing the gender change thing throughout society. So for him to come out that way, even more likely had tendencies to the homosexual already and to the attracted to children, why not cover your behind by picking up one of the most protected identities in the planet, the trans?
Yeah, I
It
agree.
made sense to me.
And that's why I asked earlier, did he have gay tendencies, or is this transgenderism thing, tranny thing, a cover up for him being a pedo?
Yes.
You know, because maybe he's not gay. Maybe he was married, right? I mean, yeah, you could be
married, has a kid, yeah.
But let's see in the perfect world. He was married, had a kid, straight hetero male, but a pedo.
Yeah.
Goes transgender, to cover up his pedophilia, to protect himself from that. And Marlon and I discussed this backstage. I said, you see it with a lot of prisoners who are rapists and who touch kids. They don't want to go to male prison. So what do they end up doing? They end up transitioning to be a female, to go into the female prison because they'll be safer there.
Yeah.
They can actually be the kingpins there.
Yeah. The psychology between a person who sexually assaults an adult and a child are two different things. They're very, very, very different from each other. They are not the same. The power dynamic is totally different. The attraction is totally different. It's not the same thing. So to conflate those two is not right. So like his tendency, even if he was gay, wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right because it would still be the pedo side. That's what it would be.
No,
that's what his attraction is.
It had nothing to do with him being gay. What I'm equating to, I said, was he gay? Somebody who thought he was a woman and transitioned, or was he a straight male who was a pedo, decided to become a female to cover up his kid diddling stuff? That's where I was getting at.
Well, this is my thing. Is I don't think he was ever gay in that sense. He was attracted to boys, young boys, not men. He was attracted to boys.
Still
difference.
Gay.
Yes.
In that way, it's I still consider that different psychology in that way because
it might be mentally different, but it's still a man attracted.
That's
to
what I'm scientifically I'm looking at it this way through psychology. They are two different mindsets. A gay man is not the same thing as a pedo who's attracted to boys.
And that's what they want me to believe. But I'm gonna class you the same. I might beat you up more for the attacking the kid, but I'm
still the same.
Right. So
but
you're just a gay pedo.
That's all. Yeah, that's it.
That's a stain on the LGBTQ community.
Okay, so the little diet thing that he wrote and that long thing. Now remember his first tweet I read to you that he's Kris is not his nightmare. I wonder if he's changed his tune now. But anyway, this is a couple of the conversations, right? Did you know the NDA Kris sent to his alleged victims? How could you not know? Yeah. Kris claims he stepped away. Did you fire him or did he step away? Because those are two massively different things. And then comes, what's all this about? MrBeast, old archives have been found of MrBeast's old video series titled Worst Intros. And MrBeast allegedly has clips of minors performing suggestive actions.
Well, that's interesting.
That reminds me of Nickelodeon and the feet.
Hey, man. Same. Looks like he turned out to be a worse nightmare after all.
Oh, I know Kangmin Lee. He's cool.
Yeah.
He said, imagine this a weird, hard time for you. People forget you're a real, now this here comes the defense. You're a real living, breathing human being. MrBeast is larger than life, and I understand why people hold on to the standard they do. But I hope you're doing okay. Can't be easy when this happens with a friend, day one friend. Now, FaZe, I'm going to only assume that you are probably one and the same as they are, which is why you would come to that defense. And I like, here comes MTG comes in and says, you remove Kris or Kris stepped away. Which is it?
The fact is
now,
a parody tweet.
Here's a problem with digital footprints, okay? The internet is forever. Okay.
Yeah.
People are notorious for taking screenshots of stuff, downloading stuff, and keeping for a rainy day. You have more trouble coming, MrBeast. And when I say more, I mean a megaton more trouble coming.
Yeah.
If that allegation of that second tweet is correct, that there are things where you were at least suggesting inappropriate behavior, that automatically links you to the server, whether you think so or not. If the comment in the Discord that we read that says MrBeast is you're done. Like I'm not even remotely partially, you're fully done. Cooked, unedible turkey. Done.
Yeah.
Okay, this whole thing has become a blow up situation simply because someone spoke up. But I think if this had not been spoken about this year, or even next year, the year after, it would have been accepted. That's how far gone I think America is. I think socially he would have been accepted as this is just how he is. Why should we dog somebody for their attraction? That's what's going to eventually happen, which is where they wanted to get to.
And
I'm sorry, that's silly.
and you know what else is it's going through my head right now. You know, he does all this humanitarian stuff around the world. I think he did Africa, he did something here, he did something there. Can you imagine if stuff actually started coming out about these countries, what was really going on with these guys there? Yeah. And a lot of times, if you look at these celebrities, these big ones that got millions and millions of dollars, like Oprah and all these big guys, they do all this humanitarian stuff to cover up and hide what? Usually, human trafficking, sex trafficking, kitty diddling, deviancy. So I'm thinking like this young dude goes over to these countries, builds all this stuff for these people. What was going on behind the scenes? Since all this came out and he was doing it on a server, you know, at some point, you know, in a mind of a deviant, in a mind of a groomer, a pedo, oh, I'm over in another country. Mm-hmm. I can do what I want. All I got to do is pay this parent $1,000. They ain't even got $5. Let me have your kid for a little bit. You know what I mean? So I'm just thinking like, what's going to come out once all this really starts coming out? You know, all this overseas stuff, all these countries he's been to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's why I think it would have been fine if in a couple of years. You remember California already started passing these laws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. The kids. And it's not unpassed. It's still going on. It's there. Okay. It's on the books.
Yep.
Everybody knows that the testing ground for a lot of the perversion is California, New York, Oregon. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows this. The same way it's being accepted in California, and everybody is seeing the push across. We even covered a local Democrat woman saying that in order to make sure that we acclimate better to people who are attracted to children, that we make them dolls. This is not something abnormal anymore. They are a group of people trying to make this not just normal, but an accepted sexual orientation type akin to gay and lesbian. Mm-hmm. Now, you might find some fight on the gay and lesbian community that don't want to be associated with it, but here's the problem. You're going to have to choose between the community that is at large and your own personal beliefs, because the community at large tells you can't discriminate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you can't discriminate, then you allow for everything, which is why I tell, and MrBeast is not, like I said, he's a marketing genius, so he has to know what's going on socially in order to push what he's been pushing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I cannot stand by and say he didn't know. He had to know. This was all planned. The transitioning from male to female was planned. The whole coming out and defending him was planned. What he did not plan for was for people to breach their NDAs or for people to grow a set and come out talking. He did not anticipate that. He thought he had the market cornered.
Yeah. I was going to say, you can't NDA crime.
Yep.
It's like you can make people sign NDAs all day long as it's contractual in an honest way. If it's to conceal a crime, that's illegal. You can't do that. Which is what we're looking at here, is that they were committing crimes, whether it be all the fraud allegations, the illegal lotteries, or the fact that they were soliciting minors on a Discord server. Those are all illegal. It doesn't matter if you have an NDA.
See, here's the problem also that MrBeast is facing, because we've been told and we've been lectured for years that we need to be a tolerant type of people. So when the LGBTQ finds themselves at the crossroads to having maps installed into their spectrum, they're going to need to either own up to the fact that they've been the ones preaching tolerance and diversity for however many years, and they have to accept people like Tyson into their fold, because quite frankly, now it's this orientation and they cannot say no to it, because they've been living that lie of oh, we're just being tolerant and diverse, and that's that slippery slope. So they have to acquiesce to the maps and allowing them to be part of their spectrum now. They have to.
They have no choice at this point. They have no choice.
Most people would find the fact that we have gay pride parades that are basically just sex parades to be a disgusting display of debauchery that most people don't agree with. Why do you think in San Francisco and other places, when the pride parades are happening, they tell their children to stay inside?
Not in Seattle.
If that was so, like, I'm just saying, if you know it is a debauched event that is going to be basically just a sex parade, then why are you having it? I get, you want to be prideful of your thing, but nobody cares which hole you put it into. Okay.
And
Nobody
you know,
cares.
another thing that we have to worry about is YouTube aware of all this? Because
Yeah.
you got to think of YouTube as corporate, right?
Yeah.
They got this channel, and of course they monitor it, as we know. They monitor everything you put out, everything you're saying. If you're doing it on their channel,
We're victims of
what
that.
does YouTube? What if they know? What if they be like, man, we was just trying to sweep that under the rug? You know what I mean? I mean, this something like this, a major guy like this can bring down a whole gaming system. It can bring down Discord, because now Discord has to look and say, I wonder how much more of this is really going on in our servers. So you can imagine now the parents, the good parents, who are aware now that their kids are on Discord, start going into these. Hey, log into your Discord. Let me see what's going on in here. So now you're gonna have parents being, you know, watching what their kids are doing, and Discord. That's a problem for Discord, because now more and more this is coming up. Imagine a lawsuits and everything that Discord's going to get hit with. So this right here could probably bring down like that whole system.
It also, that all depends on a district attorney. It really comes down to where he lives. If he lives in a blue area, the likelihood of him ever getting charged with anything is very low.
Very low. Very, very low.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to read this one thing because this is in 2021. Note the title of the headline: Humanizing Pedophilia as Stigma Reduction, a large-scale intervention study. Okay. Now, 2021, again, I want to make sure you understand this. This is in 2021, National Library of Medicine. This is a .gov. Okay. I want people to understand this is a .gov, okay? This is not some news article. This is .gov. The stigmatization of people with pedophilic sexual interest is a topic of growing academic and professional consideration, owing to its potential role in moderating pedophiles' emotional well-being. I want you to
know.
I'm making sure I'm reading this to people. This is from the government. Okay. Moderating pedophiles' emotional well-being and motivation to engagement in child abuse prevention schemes, thus improving attitudes and reducing stigmatization towards this group is of paramount importance.
Yeah. My question for people would be this: would you try to normalize psychopaths?
They have,
or serial killers? Right, like, because, like, honestly, that's what it reminds me of. It's like, oh, we should have sympathy for killers or serial killers or psychopaths,
sociopaths.
Okay,
sociopaths, any of the past, man.
I can prove that they are. They just passed a law that you can no longer defend yourself until you get attacked. That is a form of what? Making the crime you're defending yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to call the person a criminal just because they attacked you. You have to make sure something grievously happens to you before you can retaliate. Minnesota. So you have this understanding. This is going to happen at a large scale. It is Oregon right now. Almost every drug you want to do, you can do.
Yeah.
New York, any crime you commit, you can get away with it. California, same thing. Baltimore, same thing. And if you think it's only going to do with, it's going to apply to this. And you cannot tell me that someone with Beast's influence doesn't know that this was the trend and where it was going, which is why I still think he did what he did in order to get Kris to come forward. It would mask the thing. And especially with this push to normalize pedophilia, it's going to be something that he can say, the only avenue I had at the time was to be with my friend and make sure that he could understand that this is something that was natural. I mean, we don't want to stigmatize him because he has emotional feelings too. This is where it's going to end up. Look, just the other day, someone sent us, we'll cover this, by the way, of a guy on TikTok admitting that he had been arrested for assaulting a 12-year-old. Makes a follow-up video saying that his only goal in life is to teach 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 13-year-olds about sexual interaction.
Well, you got an Olympian that's out there right now competing that was,
and he was
convicted of sexual assault of a 12-year-old.
Right?
Yep.
It's normal now. This is why I don't think anything will really come. The most he might miss, Beast might do, is lose his channel.
Yeah,
that's it, and he'll come right back. He will come. Kris will end up joining the fray again. This is something that And we remember we talked about this. Is crazy that we talked about this in the Democrat plan.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about them trying to push this in their own. And what's happening now? You just read from a government website that it's something that they're trying to make a stigma go away for.
Yep.
And the thing with that government website, you have to understand that's taxpayer money that's being paid into this.
You
study.
funded that study, yeah.
We funded that study that the majority of Americans, well, decent Americans, don't agree with. So they funded a study for something we don't agree with. Make it make sense and think about that.
Yeah.
This
So
is
here,
insane.
here's my thoughts on a lot of this. Is like I'm like most moderates. Put it out there, for most moderates in the United States, they are very tolerant individuals. We're very, very tolerant individuals. I think most people stop at the line of like sex parades and getting children involved in illicit activities. That's the line. Like, we can be tolerant to a certain extent to a lot of things, but that's the line.
Used to be. Used to be. I want to read this last part. Okay, this jumped out here. This is crazy. Defining pedophilia. Listen, the government, okay? Pedophilia is defined as a persistent and recurrent sexual interest in prepubertal children. In the 5th edition of Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, further defines pedophilic disorder as a persistent sexual interest in prepubescent children, which manifests itself in thoughts, fantasies, urges, sexual arousal, and sexual behavior, and is accompanied by either or experiencing distress because of this interest. You see who they're making the victim. Just watch.
Mm-hmm.
Pedophilia is not synonymous with sexual offending against children, though it is often conflated with child sex abuse in popular and academic discourses. What they are trying to do is to make the pedophile the victim, and the children are just the object. Meaning, there is nothing you can do about it because that's just how the person is. And as long as that's how the person is, if you get mad at them for doing that, you're harming them because they cannot help it. Which means later on, you should learn to what? Accept it as normal.
All right. So if we beat the snot out of a pedophile, we shouldn't get in trouble because we can't help it, right?
Except for that, that you can help.
Oh, yeah, we can help, but we can't. Okay.
Yeah, you have to make sure you have to make sure you help yourself not to do that.
Oh, so,
yeah,
okay,
you have to have self-control. They don't need to have self-control. We need to have understanding.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So again, this was all orchestrated. I seriously believe it was orchestrated. I seriously believe that he understood where the climate of the society was going. And I have no doubt that he's been in cahoots with multiple people from the government to push the agenda in the back rooms and the back doors. And he knows exactly what was planning and coming down the pike. But he didn't anticipate the young ones coming up to deal with it themselves. He did not anticipate that. This was the one wrench in his plan.
Yeah, and like you said, the thing with the whole they're attracted to them. And it's like, yeah, there are a lot of people that are attracted to things, like mechaphiles, for example, who are attracted to cars. Eventually, they're going to stick their potato in a tailpipe.
They've already done.
It's going to happen.
More likely. But and eventually, all this stuff is going to become normal to society. It is coming. Your job is to prep your children to not fall victim to these people, because you will have no protections from the government. Right. Whether that be from finding somebody messing with your kid and you dealing with that person, you're going to be the one persecuted, not the person. If you find somebody actively assaulting your child and you step in, you're going to be the one held liable, because you should allow people who have this tendency to fulfill their. If you think it's crazy, keep thinking it's crazy. We all thought where we are today was crazy 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Nobody thought a man would be standing in front of you saying, I'm a woman. And going to compete in a women's sports. 15, 20 years ago, you'd have never thought that. You thought that
used to be a comedy joke.
Yeah, the world would be crazy if that happened. Lo and behold, it's on the Olympic stage now.
Yeah, that used to be a bit in movies where we'd make fun of it and thought it was funny. Now we're not we don't think it's funny anymore. Yeah,
not anymore.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, parents, guardians, whoever, the adult in the room, monitor these kids' discords, because again, MrBeast
just don't have one.
Or don't have one, however you want. But just understand that MrBeast isn't the only one if this is going on. There were probably many more. So look into their Discords. A lot of kids have it. Look into their Discord and see what's on there. And if you see something that shouldn't be on there, let Savage Patriots know, report it, let us know, and then we'll call out the Discord.
And I know a good portion of our audience is older like us, but like there's a reason we have to cover these type of streamers and other individuals that you wouldn't necessarily care about, is because your kids care about them. Like we have to do this for you to understand what's happening on the internet. Like that's kind of my business, is I watch these people. I understand what's going on in the space, so I can tell you, hey, here's people you should be looking out for. These are people that are probably not exactly the best to be letting your kids watch, and there are more than a few of them you probably shouldn't.
We can hope, but here's what. This is probably a topic for a whole different show, but I'll just touch on it. They made sure they inundated the public market with multitudes and multitudes of issues. So you have to pick which one's the most important. And you know what they realized they did? They crashed everybody's income and they destroyed that. So the first thing you have to go deal with is that. What is left unchecked? That. The whole idea of protecting children local is going to be left unchecked for at least a little bit, because there are so many things happening that will eventually influence. Here's what I mean. So the whole economy is bad, and people are having to have 2 and 3 jobs, which leaves kids what? Unattended, right?
Yep.
Kids unattended can be targeted by the people that they're trying to make normal, right? Good.
Yeah.
So which one do you solve first? Do you solve the child issue and still not have the parent home, or do you solve the child the issue by getting the parent away from 2 jobs and 3 jobs and having just one, and be able to pay more attention to the kids? You see the problem? If I inundate the market with a whole bunch of issues, you now have to decide which one's more important. Do you want to eat or protect your kids?
Yeah.
They've made it this way on purpose.
Yep.
Now I can hope that we can tackle 2 or 3 at the same time, but one is so drastically up there, being crazy with the money thing. You have to tackle it's plane crashing, oxygen, then oxygen. They make sure they made this happen. And in the meantime, your kid could die. But you have to think, well, the kid could die if I don't oxygenate myself first before I help. This is the conundrum they've put us in. So while I want to say, yeah, we're going to take care of that first, it's not going to get taken care of if we just kind of put a Band-Aid on it and parents are still not home.
Sure.
It's by
Very
design.
true.
They planned this out. So we have a whole lot. The only way I can see it doing is you assign trusted people to deal with each topic individually at the same time. Will that happen?
Yeah.
And I don't think
in on it.
I don't think so.
Yep.
But that's what we had for you today. I want to tackle Kamala Harris being black on Monday. More so the things that Trump said about her and all this far outcry about him being racist. I want to tackle that. So we'll put a nice little thumbnail together of a black Donald Trump and a black Kamala Harris, and see what happens. Or maybe it might make an Indian Donald Trump and a black Kamala Harris to really mix things up.
Do that. That would actually be funny.
Put Trump in a turban and I know I like the Indian outfit, and put Kamala in like sagging pants and gold teeth and all that stuff. Make her really black, because that's the kind of people she likes. And selling and stuff.
You got to put her in a bathtub full of collard greens.
I still have yet to have anybody.
Did you see
anybody tell me? Sorry, go ahead.
Did you see the video of her with hot sauce?
No.
And it was a tweet. Oh man, I was going through X, and there was a video of Kamala Harris eating soul food, what we call soul food, collard greens and cornbread, and she had this big thing of red hot sauce, and they took the picture at the right moment of her putting the hot sauce on there. So I put in the comment, I said, I bet she carries that around in her purse like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I bet she does. And here's the thing: you saw her in Georgia, where she started developing a Southern accent for some reason, even though she's from Canada.
Code switching.
But the thing about it is I still have yet to have anybody show me or tell me how she is black, based on her lineage alone, how she's black.
Well,
because at this point, I think I'm blacker than she is.
They're tint, man.
Yeah, that, and they're mixing up nationality with race and culture. Race is what? A social construct. Or culture is how Marlon and I look the same, but we have a different culture.
Completely.
Completely different culture on what we eat, on how we conduct business in our home. Nationality is where you're from. Her dad was Jamaican. He wasn't African Jamaican. He was like Indian Jamaican, just like a Chinese.
He was
Jamaican.
from Jamaica, but he was an Indian in Jamaica.
So so a lot of these smooth brains out there, these pro-black hoteps, they're like, he was Jamaican, so that makes her black.
And they got white Jamaicans, they got Asian Jamaicans, they got all kinds of Jamaicans. I don't know.
The worst part about this is that she's directly linked to slave owners in Jamaica. That's the worst. The worst part about this is that she's black, but they're ignoring the fact that her family were literal slave owners in Jamaica, which is the worst place to be a slave, by the way. The worst place.
No Rumble tomorrow because I'm tired and I need to rest.
I don't feel
okay,
like going.
I need some sleep. But we won't be doing Rumble tomorrow. We'll catch up with that.
Monday will be fun.
Yeah, but Monday we'll talk about the race swapping. I might just call it that. Welcome to race swapping. And
or you remember the Wonder Twins Activate, how they used to do this,
or the Super Saiyan. We're gonna I'm gonna make fusion. I'm gonna make the fusion dance with go.
And they're touching fingers like this, and like they're switching.
Donald Trump and Kamala Harris doing the fusion dance. Yeah.
Watch. Oh man, I'm gonna have fun with this thumbnail.
Yeah. And turn Kamala black and Donald Trump, I don't know, blacker.
Indian. I'm gonna put him Indian, man.
Make him Indian.
What it is Biden sucked out the blackness of people that didn't vote for him and gave it to Kamala.
Give it to Molly. Like Shang Tsung.
Just took the melanin right out of it, right out of him, and put it in her. Yeah.
You're not black, you roach. I'm gonna give this to Kamala.
I'm leaving Trump out of it. It's Shang Tsung, and she's holding up a black woman, and she's doing this, and half her body's filling up black. Watch me. Oh, it's gonna be brutal. Watch me, folks. So
real quick. So you make Kamala like standing there like happy, but you know how the gas tank like it's filling up with
and
blackness.
It keeps getting up black.
It's just
blackness.
Black. But Biden's over there like, you ain't black.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to cover Monday.
But the black person he's sucking the energy out of has to have a Trump hat on. So you ain't black.
You ain't black.
He's passing it over to
and then
Kamala.
he passes it on to Kamala.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have him as a conduit between the two.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Yeah. It's gonna be good. In any case, make sure you tune in then. I think Lee's internet just dropped on him because there was a spiral circle of death happening there. But anyway, we'll be back on Monday. Make sure you tune in. It's been a great week, but I'm officially wiped, and so this is going to be a good time for me to just veg tomorrow. So we'll catch up with you guys then. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you have not subscribed yet, please do so and get our all content out there because I think we're different than most people. And we'll catch you back on Monday on the Savage Patriots. We're out. Peace.
Or.